What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Leveled Up Life podcast. It is Branamier Courtney, as always, here with my main man, Paul McLean.
Let's go.
In the house, helping you level up your life in all the areas that matter most: your faith, your family, your fitness, your finance, and your franchise. Do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. It matters to us. It makes a difference to us. But more importantly, it makes a difference to those who you're sharing it with. We want you really to be a help to someone else today. And so if you're in your car, if you're watching or tuning in at the gym, if you're at home cleaning the house, whatever you're doing, share this with someone right now. Our heart is to not only help you, but help those who you're connected to, because as we get blessed by people who pour in our life, man, we want to bless people all the more. And so we pray that you do the same today. And by the way, let me just say this. I don't know if this week is one of two things for a lot of people. Either they're mourning or they're celebrating. Why? Because your kid probably went back to school. And so,
or both.
Or both, yeah. So you're either in the week of mourning, like you don't know what to do with yourself anymore, or you're like, this is pure bliss. Like the kids are back in school. And so we dropped our oldest son off at school this morning. And dude, he's just like sixth grade, bro. It's crazy how fast life moves. Seems like just yesterday, like he was a tiny little baby running around. Yeah. Sixth grade, dude. It's wild.
It happens quick, dude. Heck, I just dropped off Peyton, my oldest, to college last week, and certain moments I think get you to reflect and remind yourself that, man, life is but a vapor.
Yep.
Right. It's just gone. And I think those are great moments to have. It's where you kind of realize 100%. That, like, man, it's going to go pretty quick. And so if it's going to go quick, what's the most important thing I could do right now? Yeah. I think it's just a great way to realign your schedule, your day, your thoughts, your mindset on, am I focused on priorities, right? And I think that's our heart every week with this podcast, is to kind of help just like a quick pause to give you some awareness of, like, where am I at? Am I hyper focused on the things that matter most? Am I being an impact player? Am I moving the needle in these areas that matter most in my life? Am I getting a little bit better, right? And man, I think you picked a phenomenal topic today. And this is a topic that I really believe is going to lead you to higher levels in all these different areas where when you have those moments, right? When you have that moment of like, oh my gosh, like, where did the time go?
Yeah,
I'm dropping off my kid in college, or whatever that moment. I'm at my kids, whatever it is, where you stop and say, like, man, I'm pretty happy with where I think I've done a pretty good job with it. Opposed to, gosh, man, like if today was my last day, I would have done things a lot differently, right? And so I think that's the heart behind it. And today the concept is 5 characteristics of a growth-minded leader, and we've talked about it quite a bit. Man, leadership is influence, and so if you're not influencing your life, you're being influenced by some other sources, whether that's circumstances, situations, other people. And Leveled Up Life is a life that you're leading, and you're leading well. And so, man, I'm excited to get into your mindset with these bullet points and some of the things that we're going to kind of unpack today. It's going to be powerful, man.
I'm excited, man. I think Craig Rochelle says it best. He says, as a leader gets better, everyone gets better. Yeah. And it's a mentality that I've taken into my personal life and also in the organizations that I lead. I know that I'm the lid to the organization, right? So if I'm not getting better, like, there may be a gap between the time everyone else catches up, but at some point, if I'm not growing, like, I'm going to restrain people around me, and one or two things are going to happen. Either, we're going to stay the same forever, or the best people are going to end up leaving, right? Like, the other high capacity leaders are going to leave and go somewhere else where the lid is a lot higher. And so I have a responsibility as a leader, same with you, and same with everyone watching online. Like, man, if you're leading an organization, a company, a business, heck, if you're leading yourself, like your family, you got to be growing, because the last thing I want is to be a lid to someone else's life. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to have such a high limit on my life that other people, like we talked about this before, like other people's vision of what they want can fit inside mine. And that's a big dream. That's a big goal, right? But, like, that's, I think, the growth mentality that we're looking at. And so no matter where people are leading or what they're leading, like, there's two different mindsets. There's the fixed mindset, or there's the growth mindset. Fixed mindset is like, hey, it is just what it is. Like, this is my talent, this is my ability, this is my background, this is where I'm from. It kind of just, these are the gifts that God's given me. As opposed to a growth mindset, it's like, hey, I have all these things as well, but I'm going to take every opportunity and I'm going to take out of it like the good things out of it, and I'm going to use it to grow and get better and get bigger and bless more people. And so that's really the thought I wanted to get into today. There's five characteristics of a growth-minded leader. Number one is growth-minded people are teachable, not just talented. And so we all got a certain level of talent, right? Like, you see, especially if you watch young kids play, it's like, man, there's there's the talented kids that you just like, oh, that kid has a God-given talent. Like, they're not doing anything extra. Like, they just showed up on the field, and like there's a certain talent. But man, as you get older, like the talent kind of levels out. You know what I mean? And then the ones who really stand out above that is because they were coachable, they were teachable. They took the advice of their mentors or their coaches along the way, and they not only use the talent, but they now have gained more skill in whatever craft they have. And so talent will open the door, but teachability will keep you in the room. Yeah. Right. And I think this is cool because, especially as of this year, I would say we're getting into new rooms that we're not necessarily like there's some big rooms. Like, there's some high level leaders that we're starting to get access to, and it's cool because it's forcing us to grow. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not necessarily spaces that we're like experts in. Like, we're on the way, like we're on the journey, but there's some rooms we're getting into where it's like, man, if we don't level up, like, we're going to be exposed. That's at least how I'm thinking about it. Like, I got to do my part to get better. And so talk about that for a minute, like the difference between just being skilled, being talented, being teachable. Like, have you seen people, like, I guess, be stifled because they're not teachable or not coachable or think they know it all? Or
dude, what's your 100%, man. I've always said, when working with, like, you know, agents, producers, people that are joining the team, it's like, man, coachability and teachability, it equals freedom. Yeah. Right. And so it's also one of those things where it's kind of like, it's got underlining benefits above, like, okay, yes, I get words of wisdom from somebody that's already kind of gone the way before me that can give me some foresight that's produced from their hindsight. Yeah. Yes, that's great. But even to me, what it's always done is it gives me the ability to kind of let go. So now I don't have to hold on to my thoughts, my feeling, my perspective. I've got the ability just to say, well, you've kind of already gotten there, so my thought process is probably not, your thought process probably won't make sense, because if it made sense, I might be there. Yeah, that's good. And so, like, and that's the purpose of I think every podcast, everything I listen to when I get with you, I'm literally trying to keep my mind open, because I know I battle against that, man. A lot of times you'll have a success or an accomplishment that gets you to believe that, man, I'm the one. Yeah. I'm the guy. Good. And then when you do that, what happens is compromise settles, it takes in. I feel like even like an entitlement spirit will kind of creep in. Like, I'm just entitled to get better. I'm just entitled to grow. I'm just entitled to continue to be the guy that's at the top. And that's not the truth at all, right? And so I think, humility is essential, right? And I think understanding like how big God is and how small we are allows us to keep that teachable mindset. Really, the thing I love about you, Brian, is like you're very frequently talking about the grace of God on your life. And I think that every time you talk about it, it reminds you that, man, this is God, not me. And I've really picked that up from you a lot, where I intentionally not just have a knowing that, man, it's God's grace. Like, I'm not that good, right? I mean, people are like, dude, this and that. I'm like, dude, you understand? Like, I know me. Like, it's God's hand. But I've intentionally been vocalizing that more, just because I know that the enemy wants to creep in and instill this teachable spirit. Because when that teachable spirit's gone, well, it's not just gone, and really what's left is nothing. What is it replaced with? It's replaced with an entitlement spirit. It's
pride,
replaced with
ego.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that for anybody that's watching, like when you're teachable and coachable, see, like, I love what Maxwell says, talent is never enough. Like, talent might get you in the room, but like you said, the teachable spirit keeps you in the room. And like for you, like you look at the church, right? And a lot of these people that are in their roles at the church, they necessarily weren't the most talented person, right? Right. But they're leading so well, and God's using them to make such a great impact. I think that's a great reflection of what does a teachable spirit look like. It looks like success. Yeah. It looks like growth. It looks like, but the person that comes in, and even with soccer, like, I can't tell you how many kids, they get this arrogance, like, oh, they're the player. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd rather pick the one that's got the heart and the character, because we can build up some talent, right? We can foster that. We can teach that. We can hone in and build some skill. But as we launch, even the businesses I launch, I'm looking for the right people first, and that right person is a teachable person. Because if you're mentoring somebody, the thing that you want the most is that when you spend your time, energy, and effort, that it's actually going to fall on fertile ground. Yeah. Fertile ground is an open-mindedness. It's just the ground of it. My mind's not closed. If you have a closed mind, which means I'm not teachable, well, when everything's getting poured onto you, it's going to fall off because it's closed. So I think it's essential, man. Like, what do you see with like the church and, seeing that be evident to the teams you've built?
Number one, like when you first started, what stuck out to me was it reminds me of like parenting, right? So when you're, my boys are 10 and 11, and so they're at the age where they start to think they know everything, right? And so sometimes I have to remind them, like, hey, you don't know. I was 10 and 11 at one point too. And what happens is like we get in these little debates because they'll think they know better than I do. And really it's okay because they're kids. Like it's a sign of immaturity. It's fine, but it's appropriate. Like that's what a parent is there for, to teach them and help navigate their mindset, to say, hey, you may be right in some areas, but you don't know everything, right? But it's a lot different when you're grown and when you're having a confrontation with a boss or a leader or a mentor, and it's like, hey, no, I'm good. I already know this. Move on to the next thing. Yeah. And I love what you said. It's like, if you already knew that, then you probably wouldn't be asking the question or be in the position that you're in. And so it's just a good reminder to me, like, hey, I always have to have an open mindset and a growth mindset, because you're right, man. There's nothing worse than pouring into people that just have a closed mind, that have a closed heart, that is like, man, you're giving everything to this person, and it's just falling on deaf ears. Mm-hmm. And I think even Jesus referenced it, like, I can only do so many miracles in my hometown, right? It's because, like, man, did I know you? Like, you're Joseph's boy. Like, oh, you're just Pastor Brandon, you're just Paul. And sometimes that familiarity will breed contentment, right? Yeah. And so it's like, I don't want to hear from them. But when you constantly have a growth mindset that, man, I can learn from anyone. I can learn from these youngsters in here. Like, I don't know what they know. I didn't come up in their generation. I didn't come up on the phone necessarily. Like, I didn't come up, navigating the world how they are. And so how could I become a better leader even by taking from people that are 15 years behind me? And I think it's just this mentality, especially in the church world. It's like, hey, none of us have this figured out. I don't care how good your church is. I don't care how great it is or how successful it looks. Like, dude, Jesus did it with 12 people, and his church has lasted the last 2,000 plus years, right? And so we're stewarding 1,000 people. Yeah. Oh, great, good for us. It's like this is a long-term game. And so my mentality, which I try to pour out on my team, is like, hey, we certainly don't have it figured out. And I think everyone just takes on this heart, but we're constantly going after the one who does. Mm-hmm. And so it just keeps our mind open to, like, okay, maybe I don't know, but I want to know. I'm willing to know. And so we're in constant pursuit of just getting better. This
thought just came when you referenced Jesus, like the deaf ears, right? And like being known in his own town. Like, who else couldn't receive? The Pharisees. Yeah. Right? And I think that a couple things that I've reflected on in my business, as you're saying, is like I'm thinking about like a point in time where I'm talking to a new recruit and they've been doing it for so long, and so their experience is what they believe qualifies them to no longer be teachable, because I've got it all figured out. And in the time, it's like that's where there's no point. I just it's definitely. But the other thing though I thought about, Brian, is like I remember getting into a business where I'd be hearing somebody at a high level giving some feedback, right? Like, this is what you should do. You need to have more staff. And in my mind, I would be like, yeah, that's for everybody but me. Yeah. Like that's meaning, like, I would agree with the thought. So in my agreement, I thought that I was good because I wasn't disagreeing. So I'm still teachable. But in my agreement, it was, but that's for somebody else. Yeah. And it wasn't until, and I remember literally reaching the next level when I finally came to the conclusion that I got to start asking myself, how does this apply to me?
Dude, that's such an easy trap to fall into.
Yeah, 100%. But it's the Pharisees. Like, they had, this was for everybody else, but we got this figured out. Yeah. We understand what the word, in their experience, right? And also, the fact that they had maybe more things figured out than the Gentiles kept them from actually getting the information that was going to lead them to true freedom and really ultimately the highest level. So good. And I think it's so easy for somebody to take on that Pharisee, and I've been there where it's like, oh, dude, like, that person's right. And it's talking to everybody else, but I'm at this level, so it doesn't apply to me. Where it's like, no, it's not. How does this not apply to me is the question. Like, a lot of times that's the thing where we're filtering on, is like, how does this not apply to me? Because I'm already way over here, opposed to how can I make this true for me?
Yeah, very good.
And I think that's the disconnect.
Well, that's why I think like exposure therapy is so important and needed to get around other people that are not where you're at, because you're right. You can settle in to where you're at and think you're something. Like, well, yeah, I mean, that's great information, but I'm already there.
Exactly.
Like, I've already built that, done that. But it's like, well, maybe you haven't done it like them. or maybe you just haven't been exposed to another level, and you think you're at this, you think because you're the king of the high desert. It's like, well, dude, have you been to Orange County? You've ever been out of town? And so, man, I love that. I love everything you're saying. Really good. So, I mean, I guess a reflection question would be, when's the last time you asked someone like, hey, how can I get better? Because we all have these areas of life, like your faith, your family, your fitness, like all the things we talk about. And you got to have a growth mentality in all of them, because you may be killing it in one, but lacking in the other. Yeah. And so if you're constantly trying to get better, not just in one area, but in all the areas, like there's always going to be moments in your life for improvement. In one, if not all of those areas at all times. And so ask people around you who you look up to, who are further ahead than you, hey, how can I get better? Like, what can I be doing better? It's like what we talked about last week. Like, what are the questions that I should be asking? Like, when's the last time you asked a mentor, hey, how can I be better in my finances? Like, dude, I've never owned, 30 rental properties. Like, all right, let's start with one. Like, how can I get better in this area? Or how can I build an insurance agency or whatever it is? And so that's my mentality going into it. But here's the second, I guess, mindset of a growth-minded leader is they chase progress and not perfection. And so they're constantly trying to get better. And so I guess a real life example, just this week I had a meeting with someone on my staff who were trying to put out like this course for the church and kind of onboarding system. And it's been like driving me crazy because it's been months in the making, right? And every week I'm having these meetings on tweaking it and trying to get details and all this kind of stuff. And so it's kind of just, I haven't said anything about it in a while, and it's kind of just sat idle. And so I had a meeting this week, and they were like, well, it's because it's not perfect. Like there's still things, and it's really an excuse to be like, I'm not sure if it's
gonna fail.
It's gonna mess up all this time, energy, effort, and it's not gonna, whatever it is, right? But they're chasing the perfection of it as opposed to like, let's get it out there and tweak it on as we grow. Like there's things that we don't know that we'll only find out once we start walking. It's like, well, I'm not going to run this race because what if I twist my ankle? Yeah. It's like, well, dude, you're not going to know if you're going to twist your ankle unless you start running. Yeah. Well, it's like me. I mean, I'm talking to myself now. Like, I'm not running because my knee hurts. Well, does it hurt right now? No, but I know it's going to hurt in 3 miles.
Because you're not running.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question.
Exactly. But I think if you're growth minded, like you're constantly chasing not perfection, but just progress. Like, hey, and that's not saying just put something out there that's sloppy or not ready to launch, but it's like, hey, let's get it to a certain point and let's get some progression on it before we reach this perfection, because the truth is there is no perfection.
Sure.
There's always constant tweaks and ways to get better. And so it's kind of like Apple. It's like they put out versions of a phone.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well, you got version 1, and then version 1's not version 2.
Right.
Like next year they just said, all right, we're doing another version 16. Everyone would be disappointed.
And they didn't go from version 2 to version 16.
Yeah, exactly.
They couldn't happen.
There's been iterations every year, all the time. But yet, for us, like we think that there can't be a 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0 version of us. Like we got to reach this perfection standard. No, it's like we're constantly chasing progress, chasing getting better. And so maybe talk about that in your life and your companies. Like, what do you see people? You see people getting stuck chasing perfection?
Yeah, I think the same thing you say, man. As you're talking, like it's so applicable. It's kind of like the whole like paralysis by analysis, right? Like I got to study it, and before I get moving, I said this at a conference I was talking at last week, that I think that the people that go out there and they create the most success and significance for others, they just have a lower knowing threshold to get started. So what they think they need to know before they take the first move is way lower. And because it's so easy to say, well, before I make my first phone call, I need to know about this carrier, that carrier. What if I get a diabetic? It's like, dude, what if you don't? Like, what are you talking about?
No one picks up the phone.
Yeah, well, and the reality is like you're not going to remember it anyways. And if you are remembering it, you're using too much of your memory in working thought process capacity. It shouldn't even be placed there. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to, learn a lot of things if I have somebody else doing it for me, right?
Yeah,
It'd be dumb for me to learn those things if it's more convenient for me to make a phone call and get the information. It's like I always tell my dad, he's like, dude, you didn't follow the news? Like, he'll come up with something like, you didn't know that? I'm like, bro, I don't got to know that because I just asked you if something's important. Right. I'll call you once a week. We'll spend 3 minutes. You give me the most important things that you think I could actually control in my life.
Yeah.
I'll do that. You watch the 33 hours of the stuff and take on all the waste stuff to find your 3 minutes. I'll just get, but
yeah, that's good.
At the end of the day, it's like, dude, it's so easy to say, once I know this, then I'll do it. And I think it's just a way to kind of stay from taking that step of uncomfortability. because you can kind of sell yourself on that thought process or perspective. Like, I just don't know enough. But dude, you said it perfectly. Like, the knowing comes from the doing. So once you finally start doing something, then your whole perspective on what you thought was, you figure out wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about, man, the diabetic and all this kind of stuff. What do I write if this person's this situation? And then you make the first phone call and you're like, oh, that stuff doesn't really matter because I could just type it in and it tells me exactly what carrier to write. So I was thinking about the wrong thing. So then all of a sudden in the doing, really what's revealed is what really you should be learning and knowing, right? And so I think I heard this a long time ago, dude. It was said so well, like the whole ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
And basically it's like, you know, we try to spin, let's just call it, and I'm going to try to illustrate this as best as I can, just without having the graph drawn up. But it's basically this graph was shown of like, you spend 100 hours more a week trying to get to perfection, right? Trying to get to perfection. And then once you, and then somebody else, they spend just 1 hour trying to get towards perfection before they take that step.
Yeah.
And basically what it boiled down to is like, once they took that step, both of them, from what they learned and experience, their second step almost looked exactly the same.
Yeah, that's good.
And so the person that took 1 hour and then took action, the other person took 100 hours. By the time they took the second step, the other person was on like step 9 by the time the person took the second step.
Yeah.
So they got way closer to perfection by the actual first step and reflection of the first step. And so it's like that with anything. I think the great lie that the enemy gets us to believe is that, man, you don't know enough. Don't go yet. What if you fail? What are they going to think when you fail?
Yeah.
What are you going to think of yourself if you fail? Can your self-image actually handle another failure? So learn more so you can protect yourself. That's a lie, man. Like, the enemy's trying to get you to believe something ain't true. Take the step and then reflect.
Well, it's the whole like fail your way forward model,
Yeah.
right? But let me push back a little bit and get your opinion, because as you're talking, I agree 100% with what you're saying, but also at the same time, there is certain things that you have to know. So like in the scripture comes to mind, it's like Paul's telling Timothy, he's like, hey, study to show yourself approved, like as a young leader. Don't just go out there and start preaching.
Yeah.
Like I don't want my pastor to go out there and not know what he's talking about, and then he gets on stage, it's like, dude, I'm just gonna figure it out.
Right.
Once the words start flowing, like,
It's
this the Holy Spirit, baby, and then you're just up there talking heresy.
Yeah.
Like there is a part of it that you have to know. Like there's some basics, right? I mean, I don't want my heart surgeon like, well, dude, I'll cut him open, then I'll figure out what I need to know. Yeah. Like I don't know what veins are where. I'm just gonna go in there and figure it out. So like the tension between here's what you do need to know, and here's what you like. How do you figure that out? I guess as a young leader, because I'm putting myself in someone's shoes. I'm like, dude, I get what you're saying. Just it's low risk, so I'll just make phone calls. If I don't know, I'll hang up on myself. Yeah. But there is some things where it's like, man, I probably should know certain. So
that's great.
You know, you see what I'm saying?
I think
like there's a tension there.
The tension is produced with point 2 being tied directly to point 1. So like if I'm gonna go deliver a message, I call you, Brand, like what does it look like? What's your preparation look like? And then you tell me, and then I execute. Okay. Opposed to you tell me, and I say, yeah, but I think I need to read the entire Bible 18 times, then I will. Or I will, but Brand, I know you want me to focus on this chapter, but I haven't read the book of Job yet. And because of that, I'm not qualified. So I think you gotta, point 2 is tied to point 1. If I've got somebody, just like insurance, I'm like, dude, make 100 phone calls and then give me a call and let's talk about your script. Yeah. I know because I've done it. So like to point 1's point, be coachable, open your mind up. And then but don't sit there and say, but I need to first learn about the diabetic and what if I write here and what if I write there. So I think 1 and 2, I think point 1 satisfies point 2.
Well, I mean, that's a great answer, and you're even answering it based on my question, because my question was Paul is telling Timothy that, which Paul is a coach or a mentor to Timothy, so he's saying, hey, study because this is what you're going to need because I've done it. Yeah. Right, so very good. All right, number 3. Here's the third characteristic of a growth-minded leader is they surround themselves with challengers, not just cheerleaders. And man, it's the whole concept, like if you're the smartest guy in the room, like you're in the wrong room, right? And so growth-minded leaders build teams and relationships that actually sharpen them. And so again, it's just getting around people that are further ahead than you, because it's so easy to surround yourself with cheerleaders, right? I think the culture that we live in today, especially social media, like you can cater your algorithm. It's like an echo chamber of your own thoughts, your ideas, your biases, and you've created cheerleaders to confirm your own thoughts. Like the cheerleaders cheer for the team no matter what the score is.
Yeah.
Dude, you could be getting killed and your cheerleaders like, best team ever. And it's like, no, they're terrible. They haven't won a game all season.
They've rehearsed what they got to say regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, but they're over there cheering for their parents, right? But it's like, no, you don't. I mean, cheerleaders are a good thing, but like, you can't surround yourself with cheerleaders all the time because you'll start thinking you're something that you're not. Or you're
well, dude, how do you do that? Because you've got, so like, I feel like there's certain platforms where cheerleaders are kind of a part of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, even like in a church, because of the impact that's being made, right? And God's working through you and delivering the message, and it's His word that doesn't return void. Like, but a lot of times somebody's sitting there thinking, I love what you always say, like you didn't come to hear from a man.
Yeah.
You came to hear from God, which is another thing I love because it's just a reminder that like, because it's not. I mean, dude, we've seen big pastors and mega pastors like really listen to the cheer so loud.
Yeah.
That they're not listening to God so much more, right?
Yeah.
And I see such the opposite with you. And I can even look at the parallel of like building an insurance industry or any kind of like marketing like that. People can be like, wow, you've done so much to help me with me grow my business. And they start to cheer. And then you when you hear the correction, you're like, dude, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense because you don't hear how loud the applause is. Like, how do you navigate that?
Well, I think, so Mariah taught me that, right? I think the last time she was on the podcast, you asked her something similar because, like, when you do ministry with your wife, like, if you got to go listen to your husband give a speech or teach you something, but yet you just seen him an hour ago and we were fighting about the dishes or like normal marital stuff, right?
Little layers of resentment still.
Yeah, but yet, like, she comes in and serves faithfully and, like, listen to me and, like, taking notes. Then I think you asked her a question and she said, I have an ability to like know that it's not just him, but it's like God speaking through him, and it's weird to say, but like it's a mentality that you have to have. And so I number one, so that comes out by me saying like, you didn't come to hear from a man, you came to hear from heaven, because I'm trying to give them the right mindset because like you're my brother-in-law, like you see me do stupid stuff all the time too. So it's like, and I don't want that familiarity. Because like I'm leading and I'm coaching, I'm mentoring people within the church. So at the same time, they can see flaws in me as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm always trying to remind them, hey, it's not me. It's the word of God through me, right? So number one, I'm trying to help them see me the right way. So which is a coaching point in itself. But as far as how to not surround yourself with cheerleaders, because it's easy to do. Like you can start living for the cheer of the crowd. Like I referenced this last week. You can start living for the wow of the crowd, and then when you don't get it, you think you failed. But instead of living for the wow of the crowd, you should be living for the well done of your Father, right? Because that already came in the beginning, and that's going to come again at the end, when on Judgment Day when it says, "What did you do with my son?" Right? And so, anything that you're doing, like, man, you got to not live for the cheer, because the cheer is going to come. Like they were screaming, "Hosanna" on Friday and crucify him, or on Sunday and crucify him on Friday.
Yeah, very good.
It's like, dude, if Jesus got, cheers and boos. Like, what do you think you're going to get? So don't live for it at all, because you're going to die by it or you're going to live by it. And I'd rather not live by the applause or the boos. I'd rather live by the approval of God, which comes in the beginning and the end, right? And so
that's good, dude.
And then also just having people around you that can keep you humble. Like, dude, there's nothing like I'll give you a real life example. This last Sunday, I preached 3 times, probably, I don't know, in front of 1,300 people, 1,400 people, and then immediately left church and went and I had some employees call off my business, and so a school was getting ready to open up on Monday. All the teachers were coming in, and so I have a contract with that school to clean the school, clean their floors, all this stuff. And so my guy called off. While I'm at church, I get my phone. There's no one else to do the job, so I leave church and go scrub floors at an elementary school for 8 hours. Dude, there's nothing that'll humble you faster than that. Yeah. Dude, I'm in there by myself. It's dark. The lights won't turn on because it's Sunday. So I'm in there scrubbing floors, like nasty, disgusting, still in my shirt that I preached in. And so I'm like, I think God does that on purpose to like keep you humble.
Yeah.
Because you could get caught up in the cheer, right? And so for me, if it's not, I mean, if you don't have a janitor job to go to, like you need to surround yourself with some people who are going to tell you the truth no matter what. Right.
I love it, dude. Well, I think we should have part 2 next week with number 4 and number 5. Number 4 and number 5, I think, are better than even number 1 and number 2, number 3.
For sure.
And number 1, number 2, number 3 were really, really good. Man, I love that, dude. And I think that I've heard you even do a message before on like the pruning process, right? And it's like, it sucks sometimes to get cut, right? To have that correction or what have you, where somebody sees something in you, they know that you could do a little bit better, and they give you the right perspective. But I think that at the end of the day, that's what helps us, like, you know, uncover and unmask blind spots as well. Sometimes is that, and the blind spots is what can kill you.
Yeah,
it's what you didn't see that was right next to you, that as you move over, it's going to get you. And sometimes, you know, God will put people in our life to have those kind of conversations. But if we're, you know, like you said, listening to the cheers, which feels good in the moment, but in the end, it doesn't really feel that good. I mean, how many times, I can't tell you, if I've gone to conferences and things like that over the last 18 years where people are celebrating, they're cheering, but I know in my heart that I'm not getting better. I know in my heart that there's some things, that blind spots in my business that I've not yet corrected, and I've just been stagnant.
Yeah.
That I don't care. The cheer feels good just in that specific moment, but that moment is so short. But what really helps is when you're getting somebody around you that cares about you, and you're taking those adjustments and you're making those corrections. That's what feels good all the time.
So good.
It just sucks for a minute. So it's like, would you rather have the short-term pain and long-term gain of the correction, or would you rather have the short-term gain of the applause but the long-term pain because you know you're missing it, and you're living a life that's well below the level you're called to if you just listen to some correction?
Very good.
So, guys, I hope this helped. I hope it blessed you. It definitely blessed me. I'm sitting here thinking of all kinds of stuff. I actually want to start typing a bunch of stuff while you were talking, but I was like, I don't want to be a distraction. I wanted to take notes while you were saying some of the things you were saying, because I'm like, man, it's so good. I got to apply this. I got to do this. And I hope that you feel the same way, that as you're on here, you're not just like listening, but you're also, you know, making notes for your own life and saying, hey, how is this applicable? How can I apply this? What is this going to do to help me level up my life in the areas that do matter most? Because that's our heart and desire every single week. So, guys, we love you.
Hey. October 23rd.
October 23rd.
We got to plug it.
Yeah.
Leveled Up Life.
Blueprint.
Our second leadership conference that we're doing. We're gonna.
This is like going from version 1 to version like 16.
Oh, we're skipping a lot of steps.
Yeah, we're just skipping because a lot of times it's like it can get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. That's why it's 1, 2, 3. You can't go from version 1 iPhone to 16 because there's just too much of a gap. It's like, how did that happen? But like I'm telling you guys, like, it's like that with the lineup of speakers coming in.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, what we have in store, the vision, the heart, the strategy, the plan, the day that we're planning for people, it's going to impact them like
100%.
I believe like no event has been like this in the desert. And so
I would say not just the desert, dude.
Yeah,
like, I mean abroad. Like we've got, you know, Mike Kai, we'll just drop one name, right? And we got 2 other coming in.
Unbelievable.
3 keynote speakers that are also going to partner with us and help us lead breakout sessions that are going to be hyper focused on certain areas of your life, whether that's building a skill in business, parenting, family. Like, and this guy, Mike Kai, he's going to be golfing with John Maxwell. We talked to him the other day. He's leaving Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
He's not like paying to go golf. Like,
it's his friend.
Yeah, it's his friend. Like, he's a top tier leader in the nation, and he'll be coming and flying from Pebble Beach to be at the event on the 23rd to bring a keynote. And also
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so if you're this far into the podcast, I mean, what are you doing? Buy yourself a ticket. That means you like us, right? So buy a ticket. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. October 23rd. Plan your whole day to be there. Come early, stay late. Let someone else know that you care about. And
And I think the early bird, I don't know exactly when the date ends on it, but get it now.
Yeah.
The other thing is the church, where we're having it, the church building is only the size that it is. You know, so it's only going to be a couple hundred people that can go, and it's maxed out. So it's going to fill up really, really quick. And so make sure to be there. We want you to be there. A lot of times you're one, I love what Max Ed Milet says, you're one decision away. You might be one relationship away, one thought away from changing your life. I know it seems like one of those dramatic statements, dude, but I swear, Brian, I've been seeing it so many different times in the last couple of weeks. I'll give you an example. Like, we partnered with a lady at the church that's doing Celeste, our meal preps for the health center. So now we have clients that are able to come in and pick up one. So that way, if they're like, man, I know about eating healthy, but like it's kind of complicated. Yeah. What oils, do I use? Like, it's all organic, all those things. And up until our conversation, which got brought up by Ashley. Like, I know this lady at the church. She was doing, 2 people a week, right? Like, we're already getting 30 meals the first week. Dude, we will have hundreds of meals that will come through. That one relationship will change and blow up her business in a significant
30
way.
extra business in a week.
Dude, and it's going to be hundreds, because as we have the office full of agents and people working, like, why would you not want to go? And we have it so low cost. Like, why would you want to go anywhere else to get it? Because we're just doing it at cost at $10 a meal. But I say all this to say, like, it's just one relationship, one conversation. And I know that's true for you, it's true for me. And so this might be one event that will change your life. And we know that the last one, we had many people reach out and say, hey, that event shifted my life, and we believe it's going to happen again in a big way. So, guys, we love you. Be strong, stay steadfast, and we will talk to you next week. God bless you.